and we are looking forward to moving forward into our Easter month. I heard a new joke today, Mark. I want to bring you on and
What's
let
that?
you know all about it. Do you know how you prepare for all the candy that the Easter Bunny is going to bring?
No, how do you prepare?
You have to exercise.
Exercise.
Tonight, got a special guest, Annie Emond. I screwed up, Annie. That's why I had to have you spell it for me. But anyway, she is here tonight. We are going to have a conversation about the new Meade County Chamber of Commerce location. So we're super glad to have you. Welcome to the show.
I'm gone. There I'm back.
You're back. It's a podcast.
So Annie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you coming out and visiting with us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about? Okay. Tell us a little bit about what. Tell us the address of the new building. Tell us a little bit about the building.
So we're at 644 Broadway, which is incredibly fun to find. I'm going to say it's fun to find.
I actually found it.
Yeah, it's behind the locals. You take that long driveway that says no public access. You keep going, and then you'll pass a white barn, and we're the brick house on the hill.
Yeah, the first time I went up that long drive, and about halfway back, I went, it can't be this far.
I made the left at the old Radiant Church where they do the youth ministry there.
That's what I always say. Go to Howard Drive. Go
Howard
Broadway
Drive
to,
is so much easier to get to. Yeah.
Broadway to Howard Drive, and it's the first right.
And I see that you have a sign out there now that points you, say, hey, this is 644 up the hill here, right?
Except for the other day when the wind was blowing, I came in, and the strangest thing ever is the sign was pointing the wrong direction.
Oh, wow. That's,
I was like, we're not the trailer park.
No. But it is a nice place. And we wanted to do a remote with you guys there and see so we can show the building. Unfortunately, just timings and things just never could work out for us. And I think that hopefully we can get there eventually.
Yeah, let us get some more furniture. It's very echoey in there right now.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
I noticed that when I was there.
We know it all about echoey. So
Yeah.
anyway.
So tell us a little bit about your career with the local chamber.
So hard to believe I'm going to be going on 4 years this summer.
Wow.
Well, you throw a COVID in the middle.
Well, it's true.
It's like the longest/shortest time I've ever worked somewhere.
No, my sister started a new job. Like the day she started, they locked down.
Yeah.
And they kept her on, and she got paid throughout the entire COVID. And but she didn't really start for like almost a year after she started. It was really a strange thing, and she does like wedding planning and things like that at one of the places in Louisville. But it was a kind of a strange time.
So what I try to describe the Chamber of Commerce is, because even when I came on, I was like, what is a Chamber of Commerce? It is a cooperative business organization that lets us come together to support each other, to network, and to use some bargaining power to get some discounts that smaller businesses might not have access without. We offer discounts on employee insurance, workman's comp insurance, shipping, things like that.
So how does that work? I mean, do we go and apply if we're running a business? Do we go and apply through the chamber? Is it just like because of the membership, or how does that work?
So generally, all of our local insurance agents are participate in the program. So whenever you go and you say sign up with Farm Bureau or McGee or someone like that or Woolfolk, they'll ask if you're a chamber member. And then they'll be able to give a discount. Like a bunch of them will find out that you get a discount. Come and join the chamber. I'll send their proof of membership over, and then they'll come back and get the insurance.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. That's one aspect that I didn't realize, and we've been part of the chamber for a couple of years now. So,
yeah.
But yeah. So discounts is one thing. What about things like, I know you help marketing. I know that I think that the new building, part of that is you wanted to be able to provide training and things like that. Is that correct?
Yeah. So we're going to move into next year our winter education series, which we used to do, which was the Lunch and Learns. So we're going to be able to host those. I do things like social media engagement and how we were talking before the show, being able to talk about the ease in graphic design and stuff like that, logo creation. We also bring in experts for managing personalities, generations at work, things like that. We want to provide training for smaller groups and members for free so they can kind of upskill themselves.
Gotcha. Well, that's interesting. So that we at the new building, is it the idea is to have it there, or we have it? I guess some events may be big, larger, and need to be another. Still, I mean, as big as the new location is, it's not. It's probably not ideal for large groups, like, like the luncheons and things like that, right? So.
Yeah, unfortunately, we were never able to find a place that could in town that we could host luncheons in. But that's just the wonderful thing about growth, being able to find a new facility that you could host 125 people at in an existing market.
There's a lot of land there too.
Yes, we have 7 acres of land.
So a new building down the road, should it be necessary, you have room to grow.
Yeah, I think we're looking more towards a pavilion, an outdoor pavilion.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, so we can enjoy ourselves outside.
Now, I would say the thing that I thought was cool is like you can see the farmer's market from your landing there, where there used to be a pool, and then that big barn. I think that big barn is like, you should almost make that like the dance hall. Turned it into the old.
They don't own that yet.
We don't own that yet.
Oh,
that's next. That's done the line.
Just get the mayor to annex it for you. No. I'm just kidding.
No, the family
kidding.
Actually still owns the barn, and he still works out of it.
Oh, gotcha.
So we're letting them for as long as they want and as long as they need. That's theirs.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I think it was a great. Well, I was there the Friday night when, or the Tuesday, I'm sorry, the court, when y'all were talking about these options and asking the county to get involved because we are growing.
Yes.
There is a need. And I think they were very reasonable as far as coming to some type of agreement to compromise so y'all could get that building and move in quick. And I'm super excited. I was showing the pictures just a minute ago where y'all were like, like ribbon cutting, which is something else you guys do.
Yeah.
You helped me ribbon cut, and I honestly thought that was the coolest thing ever because you get free front page, or free media from the local newspaper. And I got, as far as I go, I've got nothing but compliments to say. I wish I could be more. Cause I'm the guy that usually shows up. And Vicky's too busy cutting dogs and with her girls at the shop. But I try to get my rounds out there, especially for a lot of your lunch and learns. And Mark, you and I did the one where we had the share co-host luncheon, and I just find those to be invaluable, especially as we were growing with Nucor, and they would do those updates of where they're at and where they're going, and then the other businesses, their inputs and feedback about their business and what they're doing in the community. There's a lot of resources in that, just
coming to the luncheons,
the camaraderie. Yeah. Absolutely.
Our business has grown leaps and bounds because of the chamber. So we joined. I think we came to a luncheon as a guest the first time, and then we joined the chamber right after that. And then, we started being able to network with other companies and things and understand what their needs were for shirts and hats and things like that. And we were able to, to jump in there and provide that. So it's done nothing but, I try to promote the chamber everywhere I go because I said, it's just a basic piece of marketing for your company because you get into the nitty gritty of what other people need and what other businesses need, and it helps support each other. And it's been a great experience for us.
Yeah, we used to have postcards that said, we've referred your business today. And we do it so much now that me and Melina have just stopped doing the postcards. We're like, we can't. Actually, I don't think we've done the postcards since we started COVID because everybody relied on us because we still worked during COVID. We were able to move remotely. So they reached out to us constantly, like who's still open, what's going on, things like that. So we stopped sending out postcards because we were going broke on stamps.
Yeah.
But we are so excited. Speaking of luncheons, we're finally back to numbers that we used to have, say 1920 numbers. We hosted Baptist Health Hardin, and we expected, I think, maybe 60, and we ended up having 72 people there.
Yeah.
So we're excited we're not the biggest chamber in the world, but to have 70 some odd people at an event is probably 30% of our membership that comes to an event. That's great. So
yeah, there's the usual, what I would consider the usual suspects, right? That come to the, I see them at almost every event. We don't make every event. I wish we could, but between the business, sometimes you have to just work and just can't get away. But we love to come to the just to see what's coming, because you have some excellent guests. You talked about Baptist Health East, or Baptist Health Hardin, sorry, and then you also have folks from Fort Knox come over.
Oh yeah,
talk about the different commands and things that are there, how many are coming, and some of the benefits of having that in the area. And then I think obviously Nucor and others that come, and it's just remarkable how much you learn at one. So I give you all the credit in the world for putting on a really good luncheon, and all the events that you all have done. I've had nothing but praise for.
I think it's because Kathy always wins something. She is your lucky charm.
I'm telling you that.
Yeah.
I got a story for you. Well, I don't know if this is part of the program, but do you remember back in? It was in. I can't remember if it was the Winter Olympics, and she worked for Office Depot, and they had like a $5,000 or $10,000 first prize for their customers, but they also did it for their employees, and you had to go in and pick all the winners. And she, it was the year that there was a controversy between Canada and Russia, and
the figure skaters.
The figure skating, and she won until they ended up giving both of them the thing. All the Office Depots in the world were a part of this, and she won. She had the most points until they gave the gold to both of them, and then when they did, somebody tied her, and so then she ended up. It was really strange because I think she ended up splitting the prize or whatever, but she still won. It just, I remember, I think that was 2004 or something like that. I think it was 2004 or something like that. But anyway, or 2002. I guess they split them up. But anyway, she wins things like that all the time. I don't know what it is. People draw her stuff out.
I know her and Eric Turner. Like we've put some people. If we look over, like, let someone else win this month.
Right.
Yeah, it's probably never Kathy. She really, when she wins, she was like, she goes, I don't know why. It happens that way. So, but she really doesn't. She enjoys them too. She would never probably come on the podcast or anything, but she really thinks that going to those events and for a long time I couldn't. She didn't go to things around town. She just worked and did her, worked in her business and things, and kept to herself. And then going to those events she's met a lot of people, and it's really helped her open up in the community and things. So
it is we tell people all the time, it's the largest networking event in the county. Yep. And if you want to come and network, it's the place to be.
It is.
And we do have our usual suspects, but now we're recruiting because you don't have to be a lot of people don't know you don't have to be a member to come to lunch. Luncheons are open to everybody, just like ribbon cuttings. You don't have to be a member for a free ribbon cutting. We prefer that you are, but that's not a required service. We're getting people from businesses from all over the place now that are just coming in. We have more national members this year that have found us online national. Like Adobe's a member now, and Zen Business and stuff like that. So we're getting more national members. So we're excited about the trajectory we're hitting now.
That's interesting. You say that because I received an email from Adobe not too long ago, but it was through like one of the other businesses in town. I don't want to get into that, but it's because they noticed that we have the same or a similar email address, and they were wondering if we were all of us that were members of Adobe were part of that organization or not, because of the pricing, because they're a bigger company or whatever. But it's just really interesting that it's. I was like, so now I'm thinking, is that why? Because they joined and now they've seen all this, or I don't know where that came from. It's kind of an odd email to get.
No, actually, that's they're marketing their split a PDF through Chamber of Commerce this year, because that's a service that a lot of businesses need directly and Split a PDF is one of their free services. Like, you can download Adobe, but you can't get Adobe Max Pro or anything like that. So they're putting it out there through Chamber of Commerce is the best way to reach business organizations. So it's specifically the Adobe Split a PDF.
Well, so do you think we'll get more tech companies coming out this way?
So a lot of things that are coming in are remote tech companies like Zen Business. Zen Business lets people do LLCs and things like that. So they're working with Chamber of Commerce. And I think it's nationally tech and other services are realizing this is a good way to market and reach small businesses and individuals.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, you've already done the legwork.
Yeah.
So they just tie in through by joining, and it's now do they have to pay basically the same pricing that we do locally, or is there a special?
Well, what we do is we talk to them about how many people they have in the area and things like that, and we work on their prices because we don't want to take a huge national company that doesn't have any local representation and charge them a massive amount.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
Now, you guys had a recent face job online. Tell us a little bit about that and how that's helped you guys connect better with a lot of the events and things that are going on.
So we decided when we moved, we wanted to get rid of our old clunky website. We wanted to be able to streamline our payment processes, stuff like that. Sometimes if we were at an event, I was running 3 or 4 different apps, plus trying to direct email and things like that. So we decided to move into a growth zone model that lets us do everything through an app on my phone. But it also is extremely user-friendly. So if you were to go on the website, there's a new directory. And yes, Mark was the one that showed me that nobody's directory was turned on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Mark was like, I can't find me. So I had to go in and plug in the web components for everybody. But that it allows us, all of our events go online at the beginning of the year. You can go in, you can register, you can pay, you can get invoiced. You can come in as a vendor at an event. You can register as a food truck. We're able to do everything through one platform. And since we are using secondary sourced, outsourced payment processing, we don't have to worry about having any in-house or any hackable payment processing.
Right. Because it's the same way we do, right? We're using like Square or something like that. They're taking care of all of that, and they have to, go through all the verifications and things like that. We don't have to worry about that, so it makes it a lot easier. Not to plug Square or anything, but
yeah. Well, I use Square. There's a lot of benefits to different POs, point of sales, but we've been able to digitize even our business because we make our appointments online. Each of my girls has their own page, so they can book their appointments, and if they need time off, they block it, and then they can contact the customer and reschedule the appointment. So if they're sick, kids are coming in late, and they've got 5 appointments scheduled, they're usually reaching out to them to clear the schedule so that they can take care of their day, which works because all my girls have kids and now we got kids. So it's a juggle. And when you got customers, when they know that we can reach out to them quickly and not have to go to some paper and pen method, it makes a world of difference. And we don't have to spend a lot of time on the phones. So, but anyway, technology is amazing. But I would think that, through a lot of collaboration, I probably talked to you 5 times before we opened about POSs and so. But
that's the other thing that people don't realize is if you want to start a business, you can come in without being a member, and I'll walk you through a lot of people. I help with the restaurants with what you need for health code and stuff like that. How to start your LLCs, bank accounts, insurance, things like that. I can walk everybody through their whole startup and stuff.
I wish I would have realized that when we started, because I tend to try to do everything myself and try to figure it out, and I learned that way.
He does this every day.
I know, and I didn't take advantage of that. I wish I had, because especially when we first started, and it was I could have benefited from a lot of the information. I've learned it now, but I've learned it kind of the hard way.
My next phase of operations for even our business is to get into, because we've been doing all this podcasting, is I'm actually going to live stream classes on how to do dog grooming and then do certifications, especially for our military spouses who are abroad. But if I could put a rough to possum at every AFES on every military base, every time you PCS, you got a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because everybody has dogs on base. So, but anyway.
Well, dogs are universal. You know?
Yeah, amen. Yes.
Yeah.
So, earlier I was telling you about that too. Speaking of dogs and the animal control shelter and the idea of actually building a new one, which I think would be fantastic for our community. But there's a lot of growth going on in the community. Do you find that we're going to run into a position where we're no longer leaving Meade County to go to work? We have people coming to Meade County to come to work because we still don't have enough housing yet? Or how is that balancing in your eyes, working with all the businesses that are coming in?
Well, the good thing about coming in 3:13 in the morning is I get to see the traffic. Like, you can't go out Flaherty Road that way anymore because there's so much that comes in. And that's a direct result of Nucor, and then people from Monument going to Nucor, and kind of some shuffling going around. So we have people from Harrison County. We have people from Hardinsburg, E-Town. Like, the E-Town Sheriff's Department said that a bunch of their police officers came over and went to work for Nucor. So we're attracting people now, and that 85% commuter rate is going down, especially because our last census, in 2 years, our population grew by 3,000.
Yeah.
And our median income grew by almost 10,000. So we do have a lot of sticking power, and it's because we have those economic drivers now that people don't have to leave for.
So not to go political, and I'll keep it very neutral, but I think that there's been a lot of effort by the state to also recognize that we have some of the largest growth going on in this region of the state, that it seems like we are getting that federal funding. Do you find it, I know you went through the grant process to try to help a lot with the Meade Chamber and stuff. Do you find that there is a lot more of those types of monies coming available in grants to help businesses continue to see this grow?
Well, we are in an RD zone, or a rural development zone, and we qualify because of our per capita income. So that's why a lot of that is available is from rural development funds. That's not just with your ARPA or your block grants or stuff like that. Like municipalities and cities and special government entities can always apply for block grants, but small businesses and things like that are now getting into SBA loans and 0% through the rural development. So that's kind of where a lot of money is coming into this area.
That's where I need help. I got more facilities to open, and I'd like to get something lower than some of these interest rates that exist. Do you help with things like that? If somebody wants to grow and expand, given the growth that's going on? I mean, because like in my industry, it's a service industry. And when you have more people, you have more dogs. And, you know, you need to cater to that, or it's going to be a strain for good animal control, right?
Yeah.
So is it easy? Do you find it easy working with the SBA and the chamber to get those people aligned associated with those types of loans?
In a word, no. I think navigating grants is a very good skill to have. And I come from like a nonprofit background, so I have those skills. I can help translate and things like that, but they're so highly competitive, so they have to be wrote very, very well.
Okay.
And as much as I come from that background, I need an editor to come behind me. And they are fantastic and they are great, but I would say I can give you the items, but then I will pass you off to somebody that's smarter than me.
Gotcha. Well, just like your English paper, before you turn it in college, have somebody else read it before you submit.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. No, I can tell you how many I submitted. I probably should have run it through the Word for passive voice and all that other stuff. So, but anyway. Now they've got AI technology. You can ask it to write a paper. Mark was showing me this other day, and I said, I just asked it, can you tell me who's ready to join the Army? Because they're having so many troubles. But, you know, other growth in our county, I think we had the mayor on the other day, and one of the things we talked about was, you know, we lose a lot of Fort Knox community because they go to E-Town. And there's no reason why either we can't get hotel facilities or other things like that to draw, especially because you don't just work with businesses. You also have the Lincoln Trail, and that makes up a big part of our culture in Meade County. And a lot of people don't realize that, but I mean, this is part of the tourism. And what do you see as far as businesses and tourism to help spur that besides just the industries?
Well, people don't realize Meade County generates over $30 million in tourism income a year.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I know the fair helps, but
Well, that's true.
well, it indirectly employs 290 people, and then the largest industry for tourism is the outdoors. So many people come to Otter Creek and Buttermilk Falls and Yellow Bank.
That's true.
They go on the river and things like that. People come from all around. I think last count in 2020 that I did was 60,000 people walked Buttermilk Falls that year. So we need that thing. But go ahead.
You know what I would love to see is Buttermilk Falls connect to Otter Creek, and then you camp and bike.
Yeah, but then we'd have to go through Fort Knox, and they won't let us do that.
I know. They might if we talk to them enough, but I don't know. But it's about a rite of passage, I think, through there. But wouldn't that be neat? I mean, because the Buttermilk Falls is a cute ride. I can't wait to get our kids out there. It's just been too cold lately. But when we have e-bikes, do you think they'll regulate e-bikes on that trail soon?
I don't think so. I think that they built those mountain bike paths for multi-purpose bikes. Don't take a four-wheeler through there, though.
No,
No
get the
dirt
sheriff
bikes,
out
no
there real quick.
four-wheelers. But I think that the things like that are specifically meant for all capabilities. That's why all of that is paved through there.
Yeah.
They want to make sure it's accessible to as many people as possible.
Well, we definitely enjoyed it. I think that was a lot of good money spent. And I know the mayor was hitting me up because he knows I'm on this animal control board about putting a dog park out there at the park, too, would be nice. I haven't brought that up yet.
You were talking about Otter Creek. I grew up in Otter Creek out on Rock Ridge Road. Back before there were houses all up and down Rock Ridge Road. It was, there were a handful, but maybe, 15 or 20. And now there's like a couple hundred out there, I think. But that was the park road used to go, at the end of Rock Ridge. That's how you went down to the river.
Yeah,
and,
down at Van Buren. Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's I wish they wouldn't have changed it because I thought the way it was laid out before was nice. You didn't have to but now all the traffic goes through one direction. And I used to work when I was a kid. I worked at Otter Creek Park Restaurant. And they had the lodge out there. The lodge is gone. They tore it down, and I guess the restaurant just sits out there empty. I guess it's still there, but
it's still there. It's not able to be brought back because the windows have been busted out for too many years.
Yeah,
but it's a beautiful area that somebody is going to develop. It's just a matter of time.
I really hope so because I know this is not necessarily in the purview of the chamber, but it is a nice business that was out there, and I didn't think it did that bad of business when when I was young. There were people there. We would get hundreds and hundreds of people every weekend night, and then the rest of the nights it was kind of limited. But it was a nice restaurant. The view out there is
still beautiful.
It's remarkable. On what I think it's on what they used to call Lover's Leap or something like that out there in the park. But it's about as tall as you can get in the park. Overlooks Indiana, the river.
It's at the bend there.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So I know that a lot of people still go out there for like prom pictures and things like that, and they'll go out and stand on the on the concrete patio back there and stuff. But I assume they do. I haven't had to do prom pictures in quite a while. But anyway, it's just a shame that some of those things. I'm hoping that as Meade County grows, those type of things come back. And because those are things that attract even more tourism in over time. So, again, I know it's not exactly this, aligned with what we're talking about tonight, but I think it's, I guess you would probably
I think
know.
it's aligned. Annie, a lot of what Annie does is that tourism piece too. She has a huge chunk of her job ties into that tourism. Yeah. So I think that speaks to probably the millions of dollars because you get photographers, you get those people are making an income off of citizens of Meade County, and that is funneling money into Meade County, especially if it's a local photographer. Yeah. I know I told you I got those 2 drones, so next step for me is my pilot certification so I can get paid to do it. And, with our housing industry, taking those aerial photographs mean a lot to a lot of folks because Google Earth doesn't exactly give you a good layout all the time.
Yeah, and in this area there were a few people who used to do the ultralights. Jerry Lynn was one of them that did it. But there's some people that do it, and they'll go around taking pictures, and then they'll sell the pictures. Now drones have kind of like taken over a lot of that business because you can go get some really fantastic
4K
photos in 4K, and those guys will go up and they'll snap pictures in places even ultralights can't get to, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a cool little industry there.
Plus, drones are getting smaller and smaller, so they can go more places.
My son,
I like my
races.
big one because I was in the windstorm, not the recent one.
Okay.
No. But I'm in a 13 knot wind, and mine is like still stabilized. It's like amazing. This thing. It's a 6-blade rotor, not like your typical 4 that goes in the palm of your hand. So it stands up to some wind pretty good. But
I don't know if I'd be stabilized in a 13.
no, well, it's not that bad. But usually don't jump out of an aircraft in a 13 knot wind. But anyway, I took it up and landed it. It was pretty neat.
So we've got about a little over 20 minutes left in the program. So why don't we
go ahead?
I was gonna say, why don't we transition to some of the events and things that
that's what I was about to ask, Mark. And God, we're so much on the same page. How does this happen?
I don't know.
Are you in my brain?
I think so.
Because I was about to say that there's a lot of things that are about to happen in Meade County. I know you just mentioned one earlier that the starting back up with the winter stuff. But go ahead, lead the way, Annie. I'm sorry I can't. How do you get in my head like that, man? Anyway, go ahead.
We've been doing this for a little while.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if you see the shirt today.
Yeah, Centennial. Yeah, that's right. 200 years.
200 years. 200 years in Meade County. Now, granted, our 200th anniversary is at the end of December.
Who wants to do anything outside of December?
Yeah. And plus, it's a couple days before Christmas. Everybody's going to be out of town. And so we opted to have it on a time when everybody can celebrate.
Absolutely.
And also when Amy told us the park was available.
That helps.
That always helps.
Yeah. So I keep telling everybody this is a once-in-a-lifetime event. We're going huge. We're having a parade. We're having an antique tractor show. Unfortunately, I was told today that aviation from Fort Knox can't come because they have training exercises.
Oh.
And I told them, okay, but no, I understand. That's what your aircraft is meant for, and that's what you're there for. I get it. We're going to have concerts all day, kids zone, just so much stuff all day long. Food truck gathering. I don't know if I'm going to get it done in time because May 20th is so much closer than I realized. But I'm trying to construct the old walnut log tavern as my beer garden this year. So,
I have a suggestion for your helicopters.
What?
Fort Campbell, too. You might be able to, and I know somebody who knows something about aviation. He might be in office somewhere, but
I know he's the one that put me through to Fort Knox.
no. Well, Campbell, Campbell too. But
I meant to mention this today, but we need to have a maybe I wanted to say a little something about there was an accident last night at Fort Campbell.
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
they had 2 helicopters that 2 Blackhawks collided, and we lost some good soldiers there. And so I wanted to say our thoughts and prayers are for those families and soldiers. And, you got to remember that it's not just their families, but they're the people that are side by side with them. You probably know a little bit of something about that, right, Steve? And where the
hard to talk about. It
is. So I wanted to make sure that we mentioned it. I knew that it. I wanted to make sure that we said that our thoughts and prayers are with those families and those soldiers. So,
and we know it all too well because Meade County. If you think about it, Muldraugh was the Kentucky Raiders during the Civil War. We've had people here as long as they've come across the Cumberland Gap. So with Daniel and Enoch Boone, the first people in Kentucky. So we have had some sort of military presence here since the beginning.
Well, Camp Knox was down in West Point before it ever moved up here. I mean, I was looking at a photo the other day.
1861.
I was looking at a photo the other day where they were surrounded themselves and did all the people in a photo, and I'm laughing at this actually because we're talking about drones a minute ago. And the difference is they had a hill that was on a bank like that so that the photographer standing up on some stool could get the angle of them to get the Camp Knox with everybody lined up and spelling out for the field.
Duffield, yeah.
Whereas the newer version was a whole bunch of people and somebody flew up in a drone and took the picture that had the down angle.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah, it was a little bit more precise with technology.
So that was it. Started at Fort Duffield, and which was overlooking the Salt River and the Ohio River down in West Point. And then I think it wasn't until that was in 1861. So it really wasn't called Camp Knox or Fort Knox until I think it was like 1906 or something like that. It was
right before
around
the First World War.
Yeah, and so it became Camp Knox, and then by I think it was like was it right after World War II that it became Fort Knox?
I think it was after World War One.
Was it right after World War One?
Yeah, because they had the first mechanized tanks there, and then they had Patton come in and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So so somewhere but still it was already existing for about 40, 55 years, something like that, before it became Fort Knox.
Yeah.
So, but it was interesting because we just opened a kiosk in the exchange, and so we've been doing a lot of history and research and things on Fort Knox, and understanding what we can sell, what might sell, and things like that in the kiosk. So,
and the vintage stuff is what's selling.
Yeah,
the vintage.
People really like sweatshirts with Fort Knox on it.
That's right.
That's what they like a lot.
Or Army.
Actually, the Fort Knox goes a lot faster than the Army. I was really surprised. I really thought Army.
Well, you better get a bunch of them ready when all those cadets start coming in.
This summer, man.
I know.
You should make a shirt. I'm a cadet. Wait till you see when I become an officer. You should say I'm a cadet. Wait till you see what I do when I become an officer.
I'm taking mental notes right now.
I'm telling you, if you put that shirt, that's going to fly off the shelf. I'm a cadet now, but wait until you see me become an officer.
That'd be awesome.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I have to figure that out.
That's a marketing tool ready to go because that's what you're going to be catering to when they come out here. And when the families come, you got to have something for mom and dad. My son kicks ass as a cadet, or my daughter kicks butt as a cadet. I don't know, something
like that.
I probably shouldn't have said that, but
I had to come all the way to Fort Knox, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
There you go.
I still love them.
Yeah,
Kathy's dad did basic at Fort Knox. Her cousins did basic at Fort Knox. It's like I've known people all of my life that came down there. We lived here basically all of our life, or my brothers and sisters and I, and because our father worked at Fort Knox. He was a heavy mobile mechanic.
But you say that, and Annie, I want to give you props because I was just recently there, obviously before General Davis left USAC to come to USAREC where I work now, and you do a lot of outreach with our partners in Fort Knox. It's Meade County / Hardin County, but when you do those engagements, you bring in like all of the surrounding. It's not just Meade County because honestly, we do partner with our surrounding counties, and you do a great job of bringing unification together. But Fort Knox is a big player and the livelihoods of Meade County citizens. I think
25,000 people a day on that base.
Yeah.
It's insane. And I learned for the first time, I didn't realize there were 5 commands on Fort Knox. I think it is.
Oh, there's more than that.
They said there were 5 in the...
There's 5 major commands. Yeah, where you've got a 2-star or higher on the command.
Right.
Obviously, 5th Corps is the highest with a 3-star command. But, 5th Corps is... but it's also a base that has a lot of heavy enlisted and officer ranks on this base. Most of their reach is units that are spread across the United States.
Right.
So, but 5th Corps being a FORSCOM unit.
Still lots of training happens here. Like you talked about the cadets
and
coming in.
You're going to see a lot more training that's not just USAC too. You're going to, and Nancy talks about this a lot too, but Fort Knox's training areas, some of them are classified because of the type of training and operations they do. idea.
They're I think the only 360 training facility in the United States for live fire. The Yano base is coming on, which is going to be a digital base.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're going to start seeing a lot of Osprey and other types of vehicles that are coming in. They are sick, Mark. I'm going to tell you. You think you're camping at Otter Creek or down at the Camp Carlson, and you hear this thing coming in, and it's got little green tracers and little like a drone does. This thing comes in, it's going to beat your camper down. It scares the living pee out of you. I was at Fort Benning on a trip, and I'm going to tell you, these Osprey come in. You don't hear them until they're like right on top of you. It's almost going like the air show in Louisville, and that you don't see that F-16 or that F-4. What's the new one? It's super fast. But when the thing comes to you, that missile was launched like 2 miles ago, and then you finally see it, and it's like right over your head. You're already, it's just checking to see if it really got everything.
That's why we have so many. I don't know if people see me quote unquote UFOs.
Yeah.
Around here because there's planes like that are coming in. And the Ospreys, they just.
They are sick. They're a great tool for the military. And there's a lot of more technologies you probably see. They'll probably start testing them out here because of the AI and the robotics and the drones and stuff. I was looking at one the other day, which was I don't even want to talk about it.
I mean,
it gets us off subject, but
yeah, we need to have a Fort Knox
episode.
Show.
I'll see if General Davis wants to come on. But with that in the events, do you see some more events like that where we've got the big surrounding and all the community partners coming in?
Yeah, we do. So there's 3 of us that do community partner every year. So it's us, Fort Knox, and Hardin County, and we all host a community partnership dinner every single year. So Fort Knox usually does it first, then it's us, then it's Hardin County, and we all take turns going back and forth. And the host kind of gets to talk about what's great in their community, and then they bring up the other ones.
Right.
And then I started this year incorporating Brett County into it also.
Okay.
So we want to try to, because, Breck and Grayson have a huge military population there too. And so we try to do that. And then they all try to outdo each other. So we can't compete with Fort Knox and Hardin's facilities.
They have a few more resources than we do.
Well, we try to have fun. So last year we did luau on the lake, and we brought Polynesian dancers in and stuff like this. And this year, if we can get it, I need to call them. We're going to try to get Piamingo and take everybody to summer camp.
Yeah.
So we try to do something really
now,
fun.
that would be super.
Yeah.
That was my best event yet, I think, as a Meade County, never been there before, and you exposed all of us as businesses and then, new timers. That was kind of neat. Yeah, that would be cool. I don't know why they don't do adult camp. That's actually kind of a big hit now.
I know. I think it's because they're too busy. Somebody was telling me that her daughter goes to YMCA Piamingo every single year, and her daughter didn't get in last year. It's full again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Piamingo, I remember when they used to advertise Piamingo on the TV all the time, but when I was a kid, but we grew up out there, so we knew, and Piamingo was not on the main path. You had to go off and go down
tall
towards
trees and all that stuff was,
Yeah, so you had to go down that direction where but my mom, all my sisters were in Girl Scouts, so they did Girl Scout camp out there all the time.
I did too. I was it was Twin Pines,
that on Rock Ridge.
Yep.
Yeah. So you go on Rock Ridge, take a left, and or if you're coming in from the park side, it's on the left, and you go back in there. So and it's funny because it's on my bus route, right? So I was like, and we lived not even 2 miles from that. And so Mom and them would do camp. Well, when I was a kid, before we were old enough for, to stay on our own, we all had to go. And there was 5 of us. So, and they had, I remember they even had, so I used to tell people, I was like, I went to Girl Scout camp once, when I was a kid. And they were like, what?
You probably had a blast.
I was like, yeah,
great.
because they had because a lot of those girls are coming out of
Mark. I could say so many things that are so not right now that just I'm not going to.
I was a Girl Scout.
But the whole point is they had something set up for the parents to have for the mothers and stuff to have the kiddos, like the little, they call them the pixies. And they had a camp set up for them. It was just day camp, so you just went. We got there in the morning, and then there was a setup for the boys. So we had our own little section separated off from the girls, but it was kind of a cool little thing because obviously, I can joke about it now. Of course, I didn't tell anybody I went to a Girl Scout camp when I was a teenager.
Right.
But it was kind of a cool thing. But
I went to Girl Scout camp when I was a teenager. It's okay.
Yeah.
So I do have a question. So I want to run through a couple things on your calendar. You got 13th of April is the April Board of Directors meeting. That's just the Board of Directors. You guys get together often. Are those open to the public?
They are open to the public. We do ask that you let us know because our conference room is not huge. And like Julia Yules for the Messenger, she comes and covers them now. But
she's doing a great job, by the way.
She's doing a wonderful job. I saw her and spoke to her today. And then so we ask that not a lot of people come just because we can't fit a lot of people in our conference room. So if we have to set up for like the main lobby or something like that.
Right. Then you got the April Chamber Luncheon, which is on the 20th, which is that's going to be at Hardesty Farms and Greenhouse this month, which is perfect timing.
Yeah, and then we're so excited. So when I was talking about our national members, we have NextEra Solar that comes into town from Florida every single time. And they're our sponsors. So they're coming in, they're going to talk about their program, all of that stuff. Because I know a lot of people have questions about solar, and there's two different companies. There's NextEra, and then there's Community. So it's good to have them come.
I have solar.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say
That battery is expensive.
I didn't get the battery.
Oh.
You use, and it's a whole nother show.
But yeah, it's a whole nother show. But it is a great. I'm a fan of solar.
It works as long as you have an average amount of sun, and you get much better results in the spring and fall when it's cooler weather, but lots of sun.
Yeah.
And so even if it's beating down in the middle of summer, it becomes your return,
especially as dry of a summer as we had last summer. And then you've got the Meade County Health Fair coming up.
So that is something that we're partnering with the Meade County Extension Homemakers for. It's going to be at the Extension office, and it's going to be a free event that we're going to let people come in for. We're going to have Hardin County's Wellness on Wheels. We're going to talk about, because Baptist Health Hardin is bringing a lot of new programs into the community through telehealth, like behavioral health and some other stuff. We're going to have tons of resources so people know all the new stuff that's available or all the stuff that's available via telehealth in the industry. And everything there is going to be free. That's
awesome. And that's on April the 21st at the Extension office. And then you have on April the 26th, which is a Wednesday morning from 7 to 8 a.m., which is the President's Circle Breakfast Meeting. Tell us a little bit about what happens there and how you benefit from going to that particular meeting.
So that is a small meeting that we like to offer quarterly just for our President's Circle members that lets them get together. And it's a benefit because our President's Circle membership is like 3 times larger than our highest level membership. So we like to offer them the ability every quarter just to get together and have a meal together and talk to each other, network.
Yep. What level of donor do you become to be a President's Circle member?
It is a $1,500 annual membership, but you get quite a bit of perks with that. You get 2 free luncheons. All of your logo goes on every single piece of correspondence we do, every placemat, every email, our website.
So when I open up my 3rd location, I should probably go to the 10th power. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, you get any event, and we open up all the luncheons first for President's Circle to pick a luncheon date,
which they sell out.
They sell out almost in a day. And we offer a lot of extras for that kind of involvement and that level of commitment to the chamber.
So I'm going to take us quickly to June, but you've got the Work Ethic Job Fair on May the 3rd. That's going to be at the Pathway Students with Area Employers. Where is that located?
So that is at the College and Career Center. What we do is we take our work ethic certified kids, their last component to get their certification before graduation is an in-person interview. So we conduct all of those in the morning.
Oh, I want to be on that team.
You can come on, sign up.
What makes you think you got what it takes to work here, fella? No, I'm just kidding. They'll freak out and go to their phone.
That might be a little too much Army.
That's easy. No, that's not even Army. Are you kidding me? That was my first interview at like McDonald's. Are you kidding me?
These kids are phenomenal. They write your resume. They dress up, everything.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then the rest of the day, what it is we put kids that are about to graduate with pathway-specific employers that they can apply with. Like last year through Powers Brothers Construction, one of our engineering students got a scholarship. We had another nursing student that went to Indian Health in Corydon.
Yeah.
They're paying for her to go to nursing school. Some places like Tyson had over 20 kids apply for summer work. So it puts real people with jobs. So it kind of bridges that gap between kids coming out of school and needing employment and the massive amount of job openings in our area.
So I was going to hit a quick note about that. One thing that I think that we lack is the ability to provide these types of services to our kids in school. And I can't tell you how many kids graduate today that don't get a taste of that. And it's probably not even, it should be larger than what you get. But the fact that y'all do that is absolutely amazing. I'm going to skip ahead to past the 2 events in May, the 11th and the 18th, which is the May Chamber Luncheon on the 18th and then the Board of Directors meeting on the 11th to talk about that cool 20th of May reminder that the official Meade County Bicentennial Celebration will be occurring at...
Meade, why did I say Meade Olin Park? It's because I was at a ribbon cutting there last night. I'm sorry. It's at the Riverfront Park, but everybody... Main Street will be closed that day, and it will be trolley service only unless you have a valid handicap placard on your car.
Gotcha.
And the mayor promised us that the sidewalk construction would be done before the bicentennial. Did you know that?
I am erring on the side of caution,
Yep.
and I always err on the side of caution.
I'm going to take.
I don't blame you. If it's open, awesome.
Yeah.
If it's not,
well,
I'm putting money down on the mayor that he's going to make it happen to make that a successful event.
well, even if it is done, the park doesn't have that level of capacity, so we're going to have trolley service and off-site parking like we did for the LST.
Well, I'm just saying it would be faster than going around that detour if he does get it done. But to that point, I told him if he doesn't get it done, then I won't even consider a dog park down there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Mayor. I never said that. But
that brings up, because that's another thing that you all did was get the LST. You all organized the LST to come here, right? Is that,
So,
or at least you coordinated with them, right?
We coordinated and ran the entire event. So the event actually started with my predecessor, Carol, and Jerry Fisher. They did the initial introductions and everything. And then after Carol left, I came on as project manager to just kind of put all the pieces together.
That's all. I just wanted to say, because my father loved that. He was not on LST, but he was on he was in the amphibious Navy, right? So he was part of the teams that would take that would get the Marines or whatever to the location and get them to the beach. So
did you know that today the Army has more boats than the Navy does?
I could see that.
Do you know why? Because the Army is primarily responsible for the transport of prepositioned stock globally.
Oh.
So anyway,
that's interesting.
Transportation industry. Anyway, and the third and final on the 3rd of June.
We don't know if we're gonna be able to do that.
Oh, you're kidding me! I'm so looking at this. I got a friend that just moved back here, and he's so into barbecue. This guy would take it hands down.
Well,
just came back from Texas.
Actually, moving that to either August or September to give ourselves
you're
a little.
Killing me! All right,
we have a golf scramble on the
Shazam.
18th of June. Also,
I will be at that one again. I had such a great time at that last.
I
golf
assume that's
scramble.
the barbecue
It was
cook-off.
The 3rd annual cookout. Yeah.
Didn't that used to happen with the fair?
No, so you're thinking of the Cattleman's Cook.
Oh, that's a different. Okay.
Yeah, so we have a Kentuckiana Pitmaster barbecue smoking contest that we do at Otter Creek every year.
Right.
But we got to look at burnout and going from one event, like it, and it goes from.
But you can do it, Annie. You got this.
There's 2 of us.
I'm just kidding. I'm teasing. Sounds like you need to hire somebody else. You're growing.
I want to say what it sounds like is like if she has to hire someone else, then that means we have to pay bigger fees in order for them to hire somebody else. So let's think about this whole thing.
Listen,
let's think of it long.
Hey, listen.
I
will ask this question: will I be able to get a camping spot down on the river for the May the 20th weekend?
We are talking to the city. What we did during the LST is we left the campground open. And we gave all of the people that were camping parking passes they put in their car so they could come through. So we saw that they were coming in.
Well, what I wanted to know is if I volunteer to help that entire week for the bicentennial and help with LST, that I could just get a camping spot so that
that would be up to
that's like
the
summer
city,
camp.
right?
It's like summer camp. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm gonna be looking online now to see if I can book that weekend. So
It's only $25.
yeah, no, I know. I'm trying to get the kids out camping. So, well, I'll end it there for the events. But I gotta say,
Let's
man.
talk about October.
You want to go that far? All right, go ahead.
So, it's not.
This is going to be interesting,
It's
though.
not everybody's cup of tea.
Oh my gosh, are you serious? You're going to do this?
But we
Hold on, don't. First of all, let me put the camera on me. Okay, if you're looking on the webpage right now, you're going to be like, "What is she about to talk about?" And I'm not going to let her talk about it yet. I'm going to like hold her in suspense. She's turning red over here, folks. Look, her face is red right now. She's ready to explode to tell you about this really cool event. And it's gonna. I hope you draw a crowd. You're getting goosies talking about it, aren't you? Or is that your watch telling you got to go?
I was making sure my watch wasn't going to make a noise.
All right, I'm gonna let you explain this, but I hope this turns out to be like a really cool, like you'd think like the. What are they called when you do the festivals with the knights and the British and all that other stuff?
Renaissance Festival.
Yeah, Renaissance Festival. I hope it turns out like something like that. Go ahead, tell us about it.
So, we did the Battletown Witch Festival for the first time last year.
Mm-hmm.
Very first time. We didn't know what it was going to be. We decided to be in Meade Park because a lot of Halloween events brings people with families, and we know it's easier to be in Meade on flat ground.
Mm-hmm.
We had over 2,000 people.
Oh my gosh, that place was packed.
It
No
was
parking.
packed. No, actually, the parking was great. We opened up the new lot. We opened up we had
The
one
field?
way in. We had a
It's an
one way
all-day
out.
event, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
like
It's
It's a
people come and
festival.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had.
There's a car show. And
We had
lots
food
of
trucks
vendors.
selling out at 1:00.
Oh my.
Yeah. We had a really good static crowd all day long. The people there were just wonderful and nice. We brought new vendors in. We already have vendors signed up from Eastern Kentucky, Nicholasville. Like the podcast I was on are getting national significance. Like we're getting into the creepy-
national people that like this stuff will travel all over the world to come
Yeah,
to one.
so we're helping develop like a haunted Kentucky road trip that you can go on in the fall and stuff like that.
I'll get Vicky loves that ghost stuff, like Ghostbusters and the beep, 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 whatever. But anyway, I'm not on camera, so I'm trying to describe this and my
But,
hands are flapping. all over
We're
the
just
place.
so excited that last year so many people came and everyone I talked to had a good time.
Awesome.
And I don't throw any events that I don't have at least one person tell me something negative. And that's why I'm so excited about this event, because there were so many people that just never said a negative thing.
That's awesome.
So I mean, do you know what it's about? Do you know what that whole
in my
why
mind-
there's a Battletown witch?
No, you tell the story.
Okay, so
I'm thinking like
Andy could probably tell the story better than I
I'm thinking
can.
like
but
a Salem witch story, or I'm thinking it's like one of the
it
Hocus
is.
Pocus on Disney Channel or something.
I tell this story so many times
Yeah.
on fair. So before there was,
Hold on, let me find some spooky music or
Okay.
something.
it's not really a spooky story.
it's a sad story.
It's a very
I
sad
don't
story.
do
Really.
sad stories. Hold on, let me.
But- And then I'll tell you the reasoning about why we decided to kind of make this more a celebration of somebody's life than to make it to where we're kind of like doing thing for cheap thrills. So before there was a Battletown, there was the Smock family. And the Smock family moved to Meade County in about, I think it was 1820, somewhere
I can't
around
remember
there.
the date, but it's something
Yeah.
like that.
So Leah Smock was his oldest daughter. And through some circumstances and a flim-flam man, her father bought a tract of land that had already been sold to another man. So there was already a land dispute going on. So Leah was a wild child, but she also was extremely smart. And she went through school until the teacher was just like, I don't have anything else to teach you. She would go out into the woods, and that was her playground. And she would talk to animals and dance around, and she had long black hair. And she just kind of was strange, smart and strange. Really, really hard in the 1800s.
Yeah, nobody could understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
At that point.
So she got a reputation for being able to prophesize when people were going to die and when horses and cows and stuff were going to die. And now that we look at it objectively, she just knew that, hey, that cow's drinking water near poison. She was extremely smart. She could,
She identified things in nature
yeah.
that other people didn't understand, and then they just thought she was causing these things.
Yeah. So our lovely Germanic population, and has a lot of the old beliefs and stuff like that, started saying witch. Her mother's a witch. She must be a witch.
Because she had the poison in the potion.
So,
Come on.
so tragically,
Sounded good. Come on, I should get like points for Oscar or something there. I don't know. Go ahead.
So tragically, one day her parents went to town, and she stayed behind, and her neighbors decided enough was enough. So they tied her hands and feet, they locked her in the smokehouse, and they burned the smokehouse down.
That's horrible.
She's one
It
of
is.
she's
Where
one
was that done at?
In Battletown.
in Battletown.
In Battletown.
Yeah.
Do they still have like the place marked where this lady did?
Yeah, her
Graves.
grave's out there.
Yeah.
Ooh, so see, that should be like a bike ride trip in
No,
a haunted
it is
story.
not
It's not a bike
accessible.
ride. It's
Not accessible.
We don't want anybody going there. It's very hard to get to. People get lost.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yes, it's in
Is
the
this
deep
like
woods.
a Eastwick? What's that? You know when they did the movie where the kids were just carrying cell phones? They were walking through the woods and
Blair Witch.
Blair
Blair
Witch
Witch.
Project. Oh yeah.
But
What are you talking about? We should get the Boy Scouts to build a trail out there. What?
no, like there's so many lore that comes from her that has become like just known lore. Like there's kids in the 50s that would go out there during prom night or on Halloween, and they would get lost all night long and find
Yep.
out that they were right next to their car.
What?
Yeah, she was seen. So the men that burned the smokehouse down,
Yeah.
they kept seeing her
Oh.
after they died. They kept seeing her standing by the down smokehouse. So
Hold on. Where's my music again?
So her parents had took her and quietly buried her. So they decided, and this is all old Germanic lore.
I got goosies. Look at this.
Yeah.
I'm standing up. Like
So they took all of these pure white, what are they, limestone rocks, and put them on top of her to hold her body down in her grave. And then some say it was her friend, some say it was her fiance. They built her a headstone, and it's the only one in the entire cemetery that's pointed.
oh wow.
And then her headstone actually faces out, so it faces the sun, unlike where everybody else's headstone faces in.
Oh
So
my
that's how if
goodness.
you go to the Betsy Daly Cemetery, you know which one's Leah, because
Yeah.
she's the pointed headstone.
So
I've
she's
been there.
So she's been buried at the Betsy Stone Cemetery, but her true remains are burned to the ground at the smokehouse in the woods.
They did there used to be people that would guide you back there. I assume there's still people that do that.
Yeah, but you have to go like after the frost when the snakes go in and
Yeah.
stuff like that, because there's rattlesnakes.
That's the biggest thing is there's rattlesnakes out there.
It's like Medusa. She's running all the. She's running the show out there.
Snakes coil up on her grave.
Oh Lord.
Well, I mean, that's like
Well, how do you know that? Because you got to go. Oh, you're talking about the grave at the cemetery.
Yeah.
That doesn't face the same direction as everybody else's. That's got a point on the top of it.
so. But that's you brought up the point that it's called the Battletown Witch Festival, but in reality it's the Leah Smock Festival.
Yeah, so what we do is we celebrate herbalism and like to the tradition of witchcraft in Kentucky and what's called granny magic and stuff like that.
So, okay, now I'm just going to say this because it gets into a wacky space for a lot of folks that have a lot of strong faith beliefs and stuff like that.
that's
But how do you overcome that group just to show it's a festival and it just talks about a lot of folklore and stuff like that, so that people don't get wound up like, oh, you burn in hell if you go to that thing. You better watch it, and all that stuff.
And there were people who were talking about that. So
see, I don't, and please don't take offense because of my vocal jokes and accents, because I have many of them. I can even do Bugs. Gosh, I made a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
But,
What's up, Doc?
The tradition of herbalism and plant medicine and stuff like that is so ingrained in Kentucky, and especially in the mountain cultures. And women, they were always deemed.
They were their own doctors out there.
So the healers were always sometimes been deemed witches. So we just want the ability to.
Granny wasn't the one on Beverly Hillbillies.
Well, she also treated everything with moonshine.
Well, and possum.
it all started with moonshine.
And possum in the cement pond. She was always brewing out there and doing laundry and soap and.
Kind of are trying to give these ladies their due.
I
And
gotcha.
that's where we're coming from.
I mean, because they weren't witches. That's the thing.
No, they were. That was the
they weren't
German
witches. They were
mythology of a
They
classification.
got labeled these things because people didn't understand.
Yeah.
No.
And I think that is, once people realize that that's really what you're trying to do and celebrate, I think that's okay.
Yeah. So
but, you know, some people take it and look at it and say just the moniker, and it's like, oh, is that?
And here we find ourselves again having a podcast so we could educate people, so that you can make your a better determination.
That's right.
That it's just a means of reliving some folklore that actually is true based on the story you just told. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I got goosies though. I'm a little tripped. I mean, I'm like thinking like the Blair Witch Project and walking out in the woods with some cell phones at night.
The most witchy thing I'm doing, I don't know if everybody's seeing like my.
Yeah, they see you.
Yeah, they see you. You're live.
Okay. Is we were in our kids area. We didn't get a time to do our education series, but we were going to do foraging. We were going to do plant identification, and then we were going to eat walnut flour cookies.
Oh, there you go.
So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
That, I mean, and that's some of the, I mean, that, I remember,
I wonder if that's where.
is that stuff that the Girl Scouts used to do, right? They would teach foraging. They would teach. You know,
I was a Girl Scout for an embarrassing long
Okay, I was.
did you go to Witch Leah's grave when you were Girl Scouts?
I've never been to Leah's
Really?
grave.
So little known
My
fact.
sisters all went. They took the whole troop out there.
So little
tromping
known
through the
fact.
woods.
I'm an Eagle Scout.
Yeah, wow.
Somebody asked me, "Were you an Eagle Scout?" I said, "No, I still am."
See, I'm still a Girl Scout. I
That's
just
right.
don't sell cookies
I
anymore.
know, that's right. I mean, if we dressed up in our Boy Scout and Girl Scout outfits, it'd probably be pretty hilarious right now.
I
So
think it would be more like a Hulk moment.
yeah, right. It was, no. Well, I would say that I did do some adult work in the scouting. I'll probably get back into it now that I got three littles. But I'm sure there's scouting in my future again. But
I like wilderness scouts now, so we could bring the boys and the girls together and all learn together.
you know what I loved about scouting, though, whether you were a Girl Scout, Boy Scout, doesn't matter what kind of scout you were, but they used to do, you had to do 3 merit badges on your way up. And one was citizenship in the community, citizenship in the nation, and citizenship in the world. And you had to learn to live as a member of society and what that meant to connect with other people and cultures, so that you didn't get, one-sided minded. But, Annie, any last closing comments on what you want to say about the Meade County Chamber tonight?
Just if you ever want to learn about us, come see us at the office.
That's my joke. Keep going.
If you ever want to learn about us, come see us at the office, because there are so many things that we do, and there's so many things that even though I don't do, I will help you with. We're there for the business community, whether you're starting a business, whether your business is struggling, or whether you have an established business.
Mark?
The only thing I want to ask is, you want to give their phone number?
Oh, it's 270-422-3626.
Awesome.
Or you can go to the Meade County Chamber at business.meadekychamber.org.
It's meadekychamber.org.
Well, it says HTTPS business.
That's just where the...
Oh, all right. So, well, she knows better than I do. meadekychamber.org. Go there, check them out. You can see the calendar of events just like I just described to you.
And one last thing I wanted to mention is, we didn't get to this, but an individual can actually join the chamber. You don't have to be a business, right?
We have individual and family rates.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So
that come with discounts.
Yeah, and come check out the chamber. Come to a luncheon.
Yeah.
I cannot stress enough how awesome it is to go to a luncheon and get to meet some of these community leaders. You'll get to meet Annie and Melina, and be able to check out what's going on at the chamber, what's going on in the community, and I guarantee you'll learn something while you're there.
Outside of public office, I'd say it's your window into what's happening in Meade County. You should come by. Annie, thanks for being out here tonight. I just want to thank everybody for coming on to the Meade Truth. It's always a pleasure to have you guys, and we look forward to seeing you again next week as we close out this week's podcast.
Awesome.
Everybody have a good night.
Good night, everyone.